Hello and welcome to Gardening with Ben, your go-to podcast for all things green and growing. I'm Ben, your allotment guide, and here to help you cultivate your garden and your passion for plants. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Each episode will dig into tips, tricks and techniques to make your garden and allotment thrive. From planting, sowing and growing, we will share all the tips and advice. We will also have regular episodes talking about what we have been up to on the allotment. So sit back, grab a brew and enjoy today's episode. Hey everyone and welcome back to Gardening with Ben for another brand new episode. I've just been looking at how many people have actually been listening to my podcast, and wow, literally I had 500 streams of my podcast yesterday. I can't believe it. Thank you ever so much to everybody that's listening to my podcast and that has tuned back in, and any newbies that are listening to these podcasts, make sure you do click the follow button and click the bell and you'll get notified when new podcasts come up, and hopefully they will be uploaded for 7 o'clock in the morning. And hopefully, fingers crossed, these podcasts are going to be every day now. As like I say, I've got a nice new structure now that I'm working back normal hours, so I can record podcasts for every single day for you to listen to, and hopefully share some tips and advice with you and talk about different topics from down at the allotment. So what are we talking about today? Well, today we're going to talk about looking after the wildlife during the winter periods, as I always find that an important thing to do down at my allotment. Obviously, some people aren't that bothered about it, but I do like to look after the wildlife. And as you'll have been seeing from like my posts on Instagram and social media recently, I've purchased a new bird feeder where the birds can come along and help themselves to peanuts or seed, or I've also got a suet block in it as well, and it's also got some water on it so that they can have a drink and a feed as well while they're on there. But obviously one of the things that it does attract is obviously rats, and it can attract squirrels. So my dad's been out and purchased a special guard that you stick on the pole to stop anything from climbing up and pinching them all, because obviously it's good to see the squirrels there and look after the squirrels, but I don't want them to eat it all because it is quite expensive. And I do want to look after the birds on my allotment, because attracting the birds to the allotment, it will help them come and they'll eat insects off the plants and any bugs what are around, and also eat the slugs that are around. So encouraging the birds to the allotment is pretty much important and something that I always want to do. And the other week I thought, there's not many birds around here on the allotment. It's absolutely quiet. And I'm thinking, is it because I've not been feeding them, or is it because there's not much around for them to eat at the moment? Because obviously all the berries are finished now and stuff like that. So there's not as much around for the birds to eat. But I did have a sparrowhawk nearly dive bomb me down on the allotment. And yeah, obviously if there's a bird of prey around, the other birds tend to disappear, so it's hard sometimes to attract them back to the allotment so that they're not scared anymore. And the last time that I went down to the allotment, I was happy to see that I had got birds coming back to the allotment again. And I always love being down at the allotment with birds. Like literally there were no robins around or anything like that. And when you're down there on the allotment and you're digging over your beds, you've always got like a little robin watching over you, waiting for those worms to come up and for them to quickly eat them and hurry off on the way again. And it's nice to have some company down there. I know I love being down there on my own on the allotment, but it's nice to have the robins around you and the blue tits and everything like that, enjoying it. So I do love to look after the wildlife and attract them to the allotment. So the more that I can do to attract the birds to the plot, I will do. And yeah, it is expensive. You can be spending quite a bit of money every week filling the bird feeders up, but it's something that I want to do more and help more down on the allotment, because I have also put some wildlife cameras outside as well. So I've started filming where the bird feeder is. So hopefully we'll get some good footage and some good pictures for you all to see. And you never know, I might be able to see some other wildlife on there, like badgers or hedgehogs and stuff like that. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on these wildlife cameras, because when I had the kittens in my shed the other week, when they'd been born, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, get some wildlife cameras, get some wildlife cameras." But I was thinking, I'm sure they used to be like £100 each and stuff like that. But no, they've come down in price a lot now, the wildlife cameras, and they're infrared and battery powered as well. So they were only like two for like £80 or something like that. And they came with the SD card and the night vision as well. So they see what happens at night and pick it all up and either record it or take photos of it for you to look back on later. And they're absolutely fantastic. The quality on them's brilliant. So hopefully I'll start to get some footage from down at the allotment. So we're looking after the birds again, like I say, at the allotment and encouraging them. So if anybody's got any tips and advice on what I can do to encourage the birds to my allotment, please do send me a message and let me know. It'd be good to hear from you. I obviously have 2 bird houses down on my allotment as well for the blue tits. And for the last couple of years, I've had blue tits come and nest in my bird houses, which has been absolutely fantastic to see. And blue tits are so fast, and it just amazes me how fast they go in through the hole in the birdhouse and shoot back out again and then come back again. And the amount of insects they must catch to collect to like feed the young while they're in there is amazing. And you can hear the babies cheeping, and when they're getting ready to fledge, you are waiting. You can see them like peeking the head through the little hole in the house, thinking, "Are you going to come out? Are you going to come out? Are you going to start flying?" and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, they've all disappeared and they've left for the year. So you've done your little bit down in the allotment in the garden, and looking after the birds and encouraging them to have baby blue tits and build a family down there. It's absolutely amazing to see. I do really love it. So I encourage that every year as well. And one thing you can do around this time of year now is, if you've got bird houses, is to clean them out. And when I mean clean them out, it's not just a case of clearing out the nest, it's a case of disinfecting inside them as well, because there can be diseases in there, and you can find spiders. Yes, there might be spiders hiding in there, so be careful if you don't like spiders, and bugs and everything like that. So make sure you clean them out well, and then hang them back up ready for the springtime, because springtime is when they start looking around for the houses and ready to nest again. You never know, you might get the same family back again, but you can't really tell with blue tits if it's the same family or not. But they won't move into the house if it looks like it's been lived in before. So that is one of the reasons why you have to clean them out at this time of year and get them all ready for next year for a new family to move in. So that's one job that I have to do every year. And my sister kindly bought me a present for my birthday. She bought me a wren house as well. So I'm going to have to put that up, and hopefully we'll get some wrens living in there as well. But I might look into getting some more bird type of houses down at the allotment. I know you can get robin houses and other little bird houses as well. So I might do that after I've recorded this podcast, actually. Look on Amazon and see what other bird houses we can purchase down there. And that's one thing that I've put back into my allotment. And also I've got a hedgehog house down at the allotment, what I need to put out ready for the hedgehogs, because they will be hibernating at this time of year. So we need to look after them and hopefully encourage the hedgehogs. It might be a bit too late to put out the hedgehog house, but we can give it a try. We can pop it out and see if we get any hedgehogs hibernating over the winter period. But the more I can do down at the allotment to help look after the different animals down there, the more that I can do, for the better. And I also do it by encouraging different wildlife to the allotment by stuff that I plant down there as well. Obviously, I talk a lot about planting my spring bulbs to attract the bees down there. And yeah, attracting the bees to the allotment, and obviously you can plant flowers to attract the butterflies as well. So you can do all your little different jobs on helping the wildlife down at the allotment. So if you are wanting to help the wildlife more down in your allotment or in your garden, have a look online and see what you can do in your garden for encouraging the wildlife down there, whether it be just helping the birds or whether it's putting up a birdhouse or even the hedgehog houses as well. There's all different ways we can help the wildlife in our gardens and allotments. So if you found this podcast encouraging and making you want to pop out some bird seed this winter time to feed the birds, let me know. I'll always love to hear from you. I like to know if I've encouraged somebody to do something along these ways. And obviously, like I say, we had 400 streams yesterday. Wow. Well, 500 streams on my podcast yesterday. So a lot of people are listening to this podcast, and I hope that you are all enjoying it. And just glad it's back as well. So I want to do this every single day, whether I just waffle on or whether I talk about a topic. That is how it'll end up. But obviously you all are enjoying this and getting something from it, or you wouldn't come back and keep listening to it. So fingers crossed, we're going to have another podcast tomorrow for you all to listen to, which I hope will go down well. Like I say, if you are not following me or got the bell clicked, make sure you do that, and you'll get notified when new podcasts come up, and usually 7 o'clock every morning for you to listen to, whether it's on the way to work, whether it's taking the kids to school, or whether it's while you're having your morning brew or at the allotment. I hope you all enjoy them. Until next time, everyone, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with Ben, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Gardening with Ben. I hope you have found some useful tips and inspiration for your own gardening and allotment journey. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to follow and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a new episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with fellow gardening enthusiasts. Your support helps us grow this community and continue bringing you great content. You can also follow us on social media on every platform called Gardening with Ben for daily gardening tips and updates. Happy gardening, and until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep shining, and keep gardening with